You're on, Elissa.
Okay. Hi, my name is Elissa E., and I am a survivor of mind control. I was born in the early 60s. It appears that I was designed by a concerted effort group of government, military, intelligence, possibly even corporate. I know that there was corporate and religious use of me following that. My earliest memories are pre-verbal of being dissociative due to being unable to breathe. That was in the crib years. And then it goes from there into being 3 years old and being in some type of warehouse or facility with some men traumatizing someone in front of me and killing someone. And they were dressed in what I call Navy denims, which is, something that's actually an official clothing of Navy members. That was 1965. And then memories go on sporadically through childhood, adult, or adolescent, teenage, adult years. I come from a family that on both sides has Navy connections. And on one side, he wasn't in an officer position, but he did have some clearance. He worked on a facility, not in the continental U.S. It was a U.S. base, and I don't want to name it, but did have some special clearance for the work he was involved in there. I spent most of my life having what I call bleed through. There were moments of somewhat of lucidity where I believe the highest part of me had a moment of awareness that things were not as they should be, things were untrue, that there was something, this feeling of something else is going on, and then I would slip back into a programmed state. I was created to be what they call MPD, which is multiple personality disorder. It's now DID, which I don't care for. It sounds so mellow. I feel like MPD is more accurate. And I have many, many, many alters. Most of those alters are what I call fragments, meaning they're partial personalities that can't really function in the world at large. They just were created and designed for very particular purposes and use. And then I have what I call full personalities that are very functioning in the world. If someone knew me really well and was aware of mind control and MPD, they could probably notice the changes when I was under full programming, not so much anymore. That doesn't really occur to my knowledge. But they were able to function in the world at large. My first programmer was my father. I believe there are several multiples in my family, if not all of the people in my immediate family, biological family, mother, 2 brothers, and a father. There were, I believe, other abusers within my family, and then many, many abusers and users, perpetrators outside of my family as the years went on. I recall very significant times of ritual abuse and programming throughout the years when I first began what I call deep deprogramming, which was started when I was 46. I began deprogramming on my own, which is kind of like being caught in a maze with mines all around you. While I was still being used, I was waking up in my early 30s, actually, for quite some years, about a dozen years or more, before I began what I call deep deprogramming. And the reason I call it deep deprogramming is that I was able to meet 2 men, and they listened to me for a couple of days, and then were able to say to me, "We not only believe you, but we've worked with people like you." And that began what I call deep deprogramming, in that for the first time, many of the alters within that had been trying to get my attention, meaning the person who was kind of the front personality, many of those alters started to be heard by me. I began to really believe what they had been trying to tell me for years and show me for years. And I want to say that as the front personality, or part of what I call a frontline system, there's actually a group of us that run on the front. But as the main frontline person, I was, I think, designed to be one of the strongest alters in my entire systems. I believe there's more than one, because I had to deal with pushing all of that down, and I had to deal with when things showed up in our physical reality, such as waking up with a broken hand or marks or partial memories. It was my job, per my programming, it was my job to push that all away and keep going, and to deny that that was a part of, our existence. So it was really big for me to have, I was starting to believe my alters, and to have people reinforce that this indeed does exist, and it was a concerted effort on the part of some of the aforementioned to design me, that I wasn't crazy.
All right, so I just wanted to go into the book from Bryce. Thanks for the memories. Chapter 3, We're Off to See the Wizard. It's a very insightful book, so I advise you guys to get this if you haven't gotten it. Common mind control themes. Hand signals are a common mode of control for victims of ritual abuse and mind control. There was a hand signal program I was taught when I was very little that was sung to the song Frère Jacques, which means brother Jacques in French. With the nursery rhyme, Where is Pointer? The common song/game is played by singing, Where is Pointer, where is Pointer? And then you put up your pointer finger and say, Here I am, here I am. How are you today, sir? Very well, I thank you. Run away, run away. Then you put up your hands behind your back, and I was taught the version. Where is Silencer? With a finger held up to the lips, commanding silence. And that's what you see with these celebrities. Where is Kingpin? With large pen inside the middle finger that I was poked with just before singing, Run away, run away. Where is Little Man? Holding up a pinky finger while singing, Little Man can't run away. Where is Thumbkin? Holding up a thumb and being thumped on the head while singing, You can't run away. Wizard of Oz. In conjunction with the trauma at church and school, my father reinforced my programming with the use of fairy tales. So this is Miss Susan Eckhart. Among them, Disney themes and The Wizard of Oz. I watched The Wizard of Oz every year, and at other times my programmers laced in other programs and hypnotic commands in a creative way that allowed the movie themes to keep me under control. Although I could not consciously remember what I was programmed to forget, the use of fantasy used in an effort to keep amnestic and to scramble what I had actually participated in was very effective, almost foolproof. Sometimes in the middle of the night, after having watched The Wizard of Oz, my father would traumatize me in order to cause me to dissociate, which created the perfect trance state for programming in this altered state. He would tell me that over the rainbow was a bridge to the other world, and that I could walk over the rainbow bridge into the other world and it would remain separate from my everyday world. He told me that what happened over the rainbow would feel unreal, like a dream. After encounters that I was supposed to forget, I was conditioned to the word home. It began with There's no place like home, being associated with being back in my bed, sleeping after a night of being used in child pornography or prostitution. Later, my mother, father, or others would say these words after my use in Washington, D.C., in the White House, or other places. I was sent on the program. For years, these words functioned as a way to reorient me back into my everyday world. Without carrying me back with me the reality of what had happened, I was instructed to sleep and wake up at home in my bed with the land of Oz so very far away. That place that felt like a fairy tale that I must have made up was only a dream, was now very far away. I was now on the other side of the rainbow and was conditioned to believe that those experiences never really happened, that they were only a dream. Later in my teen years, all it took was for my mother or father to say, honey, you can sleep all the way home. And I was conditioned, like Pavlov's dog, to respond to the word home with total and complete amnesia of what had just happened to me. So These are triggers. And that's what you see in the entertainment industry, where you see certain celebrities, they go in a trance or they may freeze up based off of trigger words. So continuing on, if my subconscious mind threatened to divulge the secrets, my father programmed me to wake and eat chocolate chip cookies to remember to forget. And for years, the next 40 years, as this powerful programming commanded, I woke out of a sound sleep. If memory of this secret world seeped up, as I entered this first theta and then delta brainwave sleep patterns. Following program, I robotically walked into the kitchen to eat chocolate chip cookies in order to remind myself. Another Oz theme that was used to program me was the song If I Only Had a Brain. During the programming session, a man whispered in my ear telling me, it's safer not to have a brain, it's easier not to have a brain. All you have to do to stay on track is to follow the yellow brick road. Then you won't be scared like the cowardly lion, and you can keep your heart, which you will need to get you down the yellow brick road to the land of glitter and gold, glitter and gold, glitter and gold. Follow the yellow brick road to somewhere over the rainbow way up high. In my trance state, this verse went deeply into my subconscious mind and was an ever vigilant internal reference to remind me to forget, and could be reinforced by any of my controllers when a need arose to keep me from unlocking repressed memory. Alice in Wonderland was used as a theme to program in time awareness. My programmer said, see the rabbit who says, watch the watch, watch the watch, and feel your eyes grow sleepy and tired so you can no longer watch the watch. But you know it is always there ticking away, keeping perfect time. It knows what time it is, so you won't ever have to worry about what time it is, for the watch will keep perfect time. And now at the count of 3, I want you to wake up. 1, 2, 3. He snapped his fingers and awake. Good girl. There were other programs based on fairy tales and Disney themes. Other survivors around the world have also reported many of these same common themes. So Disneyland. When I was 5 years old, my mother and father took me to the newly opened Disneyland in Anaheim, California. As we walked down Main Street, we ran into Walt Disney, and my father stood aside at Walt Disney as Walt Disney, larger than life to me, bent down and shook my hand. He told me that if I was to write to him, he would write back. I didn't consciously remember anything else after that. What happened next, though, as I later recalled, was that Walt Disney looked at my father with eyes that said important things I couldn't understand. My father then led my mother in the other direction, and I was left alone with Walt Disney. My parents never said goodbye or anything. They just left me and walked away. I was with Walt Disney, terrified and confused at realizing that my parents just disappeared. Walt took me to an office, lifted me up on a big desk that had a glass piece on top, and told me that he was my real father. He said that Mickey Mouse Club was my real family, where I really belong. Everyone was always telling me I belonged to a different family than my parents, and I didn't understand. It was all very confusing. Walt Disney seemed nice, but I wasn't with him very long. He called another man in, and that man took me by the hand and led me away. This man was a very bad man, and he really scared me. He took me into another room and gave me those Viewmaster box glasses to look into. He showed me pictures in them that were so scary that other parts of me had to come to see them. It was too much for a little girl to see. Dead things, cut up bodies, dead cat skins with big eyeballs and their tails cut off, people cut up, etc. We had that toy at home, but mine had cartoon pictures in it. This event involved several of my personalities. Next, the man took me to a scary ride and poked me with needles in my waist and legs while he said things during the Alice in Wonderland ride like, this is not really happening. I am not really sticking this needle in your leg. You are just like Alice. You also ate the large mushroom and feel funny. And when you eat shrooms and all that, it's like an acid trip. This is not real. He kept laughing and acting like all this was fun and games and really amusing. But it was terrifying and confusing to me, and I couldn't understand why he was hurting me. Parts of me split off as they withstood the abuse, and I pushed the experiences deep into my subconscious mind as my programming dictated. So this is what all goes into the programming, ritual abuse, sexual abuse to little kids. This is what a lot of these celebrities have been through, believe it or not. Then the man took me to Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, and sexually abused me by taking off my panties and pushing me up and down on top of his penis while we were going through the dark and closed ride. During many years that follow, I got hurt on Mr. Toad's ride. I was instructed to be extra sexy and wild and crazy in order to be good and not get hurt. If I did it right and perform on cue, then I didn't get hurt when it was over. When we came out into the light from the darkened ride, it was over. And if I did it right, I could stop and go back to my mommy. If I did it wrong, I had to do it all over again until I did it right. They always hurt me real bad if I made a mistake. I tried my best. It seemed like I had to stay at Disneyland for a long time. But at the end of the long day, I got to have a pretty balloon that I looked at as I lay in the back seat of the car all the way home. I was devastated, exhausted, and out of it during the ride back to Woodland Hills. Excuse me, and Woodland Hills, but I looked up at the pretty Mickey Mouse ears, the ears balloons, or Mickey Mouse balloon within a balloon before I finally fell into a long, deep sleep. Excuse me for my reading mishaps and all that. It's just kind of hard to see. I had to zoom in. But this is just going into Mickey Mouse programming, Disney programming. A lot of these celebrities are under it. They go under ritualistic abuse in regards to how it's adjacent to, Disneyland, Disney programming, Mickey Mouse programming, so on and so forth. So I just wanted to go into some of these images. So you see here, as we've read in regards to the hand signals, with the silence hand signal, you see Diddy on the left hand corner on the bottom. You see his eye highlighted on the right, letting you know that he worships Heru. And this is purposeful in regards to the picture. The god of silence, Harpocrates, the child god. It's just Horus or Heru. So you see here Rihanna, Mickey Mouse altar, Mickey Mouse programming, Disney programming, whatever you want to call it. Because she's a sex goddess, been passed around, straight up. So you see here, once again, sporting a Mickey Mouse shirt, Rihanna, letting you know that she's been put under that programming. The same thing that we read in regards to Miss Eckhart. See here, Chris Brown sporting the sweatshirt, the red sweatshirt with Mickey Mouse on it. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that's Mickey Mouse there, inverted pentagram. Chris Brown throwing up the 666 Yoni, letting you know who he worships, who his God is. You see here the sweatshirt that he wore. Mickey Mouse winking that left eye, exposing the right eye for Heru, letting you know that this is Harpocrates. Mickey Mouse is just Horus or Harpocrates. Inverted pentagram and all. This is Luciferian, that's all this is. Once again, Chris Brown, hand over the right chest for masonry, let you know who his God is, who he salutes. He is a Luciferian, a Mason. He worships the dark arts, so on and so forth, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that's it for this segment here. I thank you guys for supporting the channel. Continue to like the videos and just thank you guys. God bless. Peace.